Okay, let's continue with our exercises. We're on the final page of our paraphrases section. Okay, 120. It was unnecessary to cut down all those trees. Okay, so if it was unnecessary and it was done by somebody, we need to use the needn't have done structure. So the trees needn't have been cut. A very good example of the use of needn't have plus the third form. If you're still not sure how this structure works and when you need to use it, then go visit our section regarding this particular topic. It should also be on our channel. I brought my umbrella. It was not necessary. Here we have again a similar situation to the one above. So I needn't have brought my umbrella. Again, very good example. 122. You ought to have your van serviced. Your van ought to have been serviced. Your van ought to have been serviced. Okay, this is a passive form with ought to. Okay, in the past, ought to have in a passive form. You lied to him, which was wrong. You shouldn't have lied to him. 124. I haven't been to the theater for ages. Okay, this is a very popular structure actually, and the structure is called it's ages since, because this is what I mean. It's plus to be honest, it's not called anything, but it's since, and it can be rendered in different ways, but the most popular way it is done is it's past simples in the second part, and here it's means it is, where you can say ages, you can say many years, it's a long time, whatever, but usually you abbreviate it to its, right? It's ages since plus past simple, and it's not very unlikely to use it this way, because this is the past events since something happened, and it's ages since something happened. So this is, it means it's ages since it happened. Normally you would use present perfect, but here most popular form is using it with present simple. There are actually many ways to render this structure, but this will be too confusing, so we do it the way most people do it, and the way most grammar books suggest. Okay, so it's ages since I last visited a theater. I would say. How about it's ages since I was in a theater? There are no biscuits left. I am sure Tim ate them. Tim must have eaten all the biscuits. Must plus have plus third form. I had heard that the caves were dangerous. I didn't want to go any further without a flashlight and some ropes. Oh, this is going to be interesting. We are starting with the imiesłów, right? So having. So we're starting with a gerund here. So having heard that the caves were dangerous, I didn't want to go any further. Simple as that. You just put gerund here, having heard, right? Usłyszawszy, że. And the rest of the sentence remains the same. So the only trick here is to know that how this having works, and that you need to have the verb after it, having heard. 127. You mustn't fish for salmon in the Thames. The guide informed us. The guide told us not to fish for salmon in the Thames. 128. I knew that the criminal was still at large. That means he was loose. I was extremely reluctant to be alone at night. Okay, knowing that the criminal was at large, I was reluctant to be alone at night. Simple as that. 129. It is expected that he will lecture on this subject next month. He is expected to lecture on this subject next month. Okay, passive form. She washed her woolen jumper in hot water and it shrank. She shouldn't have washed her woolen jumper in hot water. 131. Shall I ever understand women? He asked himself. He asked himself if he should ever understand women. So this is czy, which is rendered by if, right? So if signifies czy, if he should ever understand women. It wasn't necessary for me to run as fast as I did. Okay, it wasn't necessary, and it's in the past, and somebody did it. Just like in the case of the first two sentences in our tests today, like these two, I believe it was these two, we need to use the needn't have done structures. So I needn't have, where is it? I needn't have run as fast as I did. I needn't have run as fast as I did. 133. I don't want to go for a walk. I don't feel like going for a walk. Okay, I don't feel like going for a walk. Perfect. 134. This mansion was almost certainly built before 1800. Okay, if it's certainly, if something is very certain and it's we are referring to a very certain thing, we are just going to say this mansion must have been built before 1800. Okay, let's resize the screen now. Okay, where are we? We are this mansion. Okay, there you go. 135. It is possible that you left your scarf on the train. You may have left your scarf on the train. Now we are again referring to a past situation and we are expressing probability. So again we are going to use this may verb and then have and then the third form. You may have left your scarf on the train. I strongly recommend that you revisit our this section in our on our YouTube channel and rewatch this episode. Getting up early is much more difficult than going to bed late. It is much more difficult to get up early than go to bed late. Okay, example 137. They must have cancelled the meeting. Okay, we need to use the must verb and also a passive form. So we are going to have a sentence with a passive form and a must verb. So the meeting must have been cancelled. 138. Our mother usually gets up first and goes to bed last. Okay, so our mother is the first person to get up and the last person to go to bed. That's how I would do it. And two final examples and we're done. 139. As Jim gets older, he becomes more and more forgetful. Okay, this is a nice structure. Im, Tim. The older Jim gets, the more forgetful he becomes. Very nice. He tried the other door, but he found that it was locked as well. He tried the other door only to find it locked. That's how I would do it. Or only to find that it was locked as well. You can do the longer version as well. Now, I strongly suggest that if you find structures that you don't understand or you see them for the first time, take a notebook and make a note of it so that you can review your notes later and remember these structures. Okay, so we're done with the paraphrasing, and there are also answer sheets to these exercises. So I suggest you do these exercises first and then of course watch the discussion that we have and all the answers that I provided in these short movies. Okay, so thanks and see you in the next exercise.